My name is Rubio, and wait a minute. We're the same guy. You go first.
Thank you.
My name is Rubio, and I graduated from the University of Michigan with a master's degree in nuclear engineering and a PhD in science education and technology. And my name is Rubio, and I teach in the School of Education here at Spring Arbor, and I also do the accreditation and assessment for the School of Education. I'll take it from here. Okay, well, let's talk about what we're going to be doing research-wise between some of us in the School of Ed and our colleagues at U of M with respect to BPP. First of all, I'm going to be joined by Steve Sutka, who is an adjunct professor, does health ed for us, and also with Craig Hayward's department. And Steve also works for the Jackson ISD and is probably considered a local expert on bullying. So I enjoy Steve quite a bit, and I'm looking forward to working with him on this. So what we're going to be, first of all, we're going to try to figure out what the incidence of bullying is among students with BPP. So we're going to be looking at K-12, and we're going to be trying to figure out of all those the folks that have BPP, is bullying kind of high on the list of things that give them apprehension about life? Now, there's kind of a mix on the literature. I mean, there's not much literature about this at all, but what is there is kind of mixed. For example, there was a study from Sweden that said that bullying was really not much of an added issue for kids with BPP compared to other apprehensions they have about life, whereas a study from Saudi Arabia said that bullying was more prevalent and something that concerned them more than other things that bothered them about their life. So that right away says there could be a cultural or racial connection with this that we're going to have to look at when we do the study. So we'll look at a sample of kids that have BPP and try to figure out just how prevalent bullying is and how much it worries them compared to other things. So there's other things that could bother kids with BPP. But we're going to see if bullying kind of plays more of a role than some of those other things or not. And then we're going to try to develop a model to sort of gauge which of the factors that cause them stress about their lives seem to be the most important. And so the severity of BPP obviously is one of those things. The commitment of the student to therapy and the efficacy of that therapy is another thing. The age of the child, the family environment and school experience, the academic performance, leisure time and how they spend their leisure time, some of their social skills, their self-esteem and self-confidence, just things they worry about, maybe their personality, how able they are to deal with difficulties, maybe the quality of their support system, and we're speaking holistically, so we're talking about spiritual and emotional and psychosocial and physical. So how well are they supported as they go through life with this condition? And then obviously we'll look at the bullying experiences themselves, the type and severity of them, whether they happen at home or in schools or out in the neighborhood or in extracurricular situations, if the bullies are people in the family or other internal relationships, or if they're strictly people that they don't really see a lot other than in those particular situations at school or around the neighborhood or in extracurricular activity. And then finally, what type of bullying? Is it physical, is it emotional, or is it even digital? So those are some of the variables we'll look at. From that, we'll build a model and to predict which ones seem to be contributing the most. And then we're going to go ahead and conduct a survey of kids with BPP and test that model and see how it works. So in order to develop that model, we're going to do a smaller scoping study, is what I call it, of some of the kids in the U of M's practice that have BPP and that what I would call are interesting. And we're going to do some interviews with them and ask them some questions about what causes them apprehensions about life and what are some of the things that seems to help them get through those and see where bullying ends up. And also we'll ask some specific questions about bullying. Now, I say interesting because whenever you do interviews, you always want to get good data. And in order to get good data, what you need to do is talk to what I would call interesting kids. And so these are kids that for some reason have probably had some of these reactions, or maybe they've done well in BPP, or maybe they've had bullying instances that we know of, and that way we'll get some data. What we don't want to do is interview kids for this pilot study and just get nothing. Oh no, everything's been cool. I suppose if that happens, that's okay, but we're not expecting that. That's not our hypothesis. So then once we do that pilot study, then we'll be able, like I said, to get their responses and formulate a survey. And the survey will sort of be the operationalization of the model, except it won't be obvious, obviously, if you're taking the survey, that there's a model behind this. And then we'll administer that survey to a larger pool of kids with BPP that are in undergoing care from the University of Michigan. And then we'll look at the results of that survey and see how well the model tests out. So basically, that's going to be a lot of the first year work is what I've just described. Going on beyond that, what we hope to do is maybe extend this to other types of disabilities. We'll start with BPP, and maybe we'll find out, for example, of all the kids with BPP, maybe 75% of them report that bullying is something that causes them a lot of life apprehension. Maybe we'll find out it's 50%, maybe it'll be 30%. Then what we'll do is we'll switch to a different disability and maybe follow a similar format. By then we'll have a model established, so we might not have to reestablish that model unless the fuller survey sort of fights against it. But then what we'll do is we'll do whatever changes we need to do and then take it to a different type of disability and do some of the same kinds of things. So we're hoping, just in the research itself, to really shed some light on the role that bullying plays with these students that have a physical disability. Now, the other thing we want to do is not just research stuff, we want to help them too. So we're going to be looking at ways that we can help. And this is where part of where Steve will come into place pretty strongly, because he has some really good ideas on how to work with kids and with parents who are the victims of bullying, on how to sort of resist that and how to deal with it. And so we want to do is take that back to the kids with BPP and be able to help them to manage this situation, or to even grow stronger because of it. That's always our goal, obviously. And then we'll come up with some suggestions, and then maybe come up with something like a video or a brochure or some kind of a interaction at camp or in the clinic, where we can talk to them about some of the ways that they can work to diminish the trauma of bullying in their lives. So that's pretty much what we're doing. Besides Steve and I, we're also looking for some talented students to help us, at least a couple. So if you're an education student and you're interested in this sort of thing, and you're in working with us, and you're good, then I'd like to talk to you. So please send me an email or come visit me in the office.
Go Blue!
Go Cougars!
Go Cougars!
Go Blue! Hey, nice shirt. Love the colors.
Thank you.
Back at ya.